First time I hosted SNL before
Yeah.
I did the monologue, Lauren walked up to me just
Ah.
before we went live, and I don't do a very good Lauren. He says, you know, it's all about confidence. And then he just turned and walked away. Don't try and be funny. Just buy into the reality.
Believe in yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Brendan Fraser. How do you say it
It's
now?
Fraser. Like
I'm going to say Fraser anyway. Let me say
to
Fraser.
get a shave.
But I don't want it.
You know what?
All right.
Nobody's ever got my name.
Brendan Fraser. See, it didn't sound right.
It felt good though.
All right.
As long as they're saying it.
The bad hip's this side.
It's a good hip now.
This is a bit better hip. You're right. You're right.
Improved.
Thank you.
This
Thank
is
you.
an improved knee.
You got your knee surgery how long ago? A year ago, you said?
16, I think.
Oh, in 16, right. And you're moving like a champ.
Yeah.
No, you don't even think about it.
No pain.
When I first met Brendan Fraser, who we're talking, that's your full name, right? Brendan Fraser?
It's Fraser.
Fraser.
The thing you shave with a razor. You should try standing closer to it. I know.
I didn't even know this happened. I didn't. This
You
is
woke up
2 days. 2 days of not shaving. But Brendan, you were in a movie called Airheads. Remember when I discovered you?
Yes.
You were just a kid. Remember when Paulie discovered you and I stole you from Paulie and said, "Get on over here"?
Is that how it shook out? Get out of here.
What went first, Airheads or Encino Man?
Encino Man.
See, and then I saw you and I was like, this guy shouldn't just be caveman. He should be in a band.
I did not. And then what? Then you went to Michael?
Michael Lehman was very against you. He was like, I don't get it. I don't see the caveman being in this movie. And I just said, he can do other shit. Man.
Are you pulling my chain right now?
100%. And I eventually went to his house like 4 a.m, woke him up, and he's like, who are you? I said, never mind that. But just know that Adam Sandler ain't going to be in Airheads unless old Fraser is in it. So he changed his little tune.
He flew out to Chicago to meet me.
I don't remember all that shit. I just remember the.
Well, he sang a different tune then for whatever.
He's a liar. He's a filthy liar. He didn't want you. I did, and the rest is pretty good. You had a good life because of me. Yeah, way to go.
Thank you.
My pleasure, man. You kidding me? I was pulling for you. I kept saying, and Paulie Shore was against it. He kept saying, just in case we do Encino 2, I don't want him doing other shit. And I said, don't do that.
That's Paulie.
It's very.
Paulie wanted to be in Airheads, I think.
He did. He wanted Arquette's part.
He did?
Of course he did.
Then we got to send one person out.
I'll go.
One of the hostages, doof.
Sorry. But not me, man. It's just too cool.
You were the leader of the band.
Of the Lone Ranger.
The Lone Rangers. Rangers?
That was a joke in the movie.
Yes.
You pluralize.
That's right. The Lone Rangers. Do you remember the name of our song?
Yeah, Degenerated.
That's right.
I have a cassette at home, actual cassette.
You do?
Of the demo that we did with Rob Zombie.
That's sick.
Serious.
That's sick.
I found it in a box of crap in my desk.
That was one of the best shoots of my life, without a doubt.
Wasn't it great?
It was the best.
Just up all night.
Yes, so many
for
night
weeks
shoots.
on end.
We would drive to the Fox lot, get there like around 4:30 or something.
Sun was going down.
Sun's going down. We'd have our snacks, get into our clothes, do our scenes, and man, was that the best party of all time.
That's that plaza. There was the Die Hard.
The Die Hard. That's what we were so excited that they shot Die Hard there. We took it very serious. You took it very serious.
I did. I took myself very seriously in those.
But you took acting very serious ever since I know you. It's not like a light, fun movie, like just let's have a good time. You took every line, every scene. It meant a lot.
I remember watching you actually improvising on film, which was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
No, because Lehman would go, just, go. And
really?
as long, and
right.
How much you left in the magazine? Oh, we got about 90 seconds. Okay, Adam, go.
Oh, that's funny.
It was thrilling to watch, because we take that kind of for granted now that things are digital and you can just turn on a light switch.
We shot on film, but I stuck mostly with what he told me to say.
Yeah.
It was good. Rich Wilkes wrote the script.
Rich Wilkes.
And we loved him. He was the only guy taller than you.
That's true. I think he was the real life Chaz Darby.
Yes.
The first day of work, he came up and he said, "Man, your hair looks awesome. What can they do for me, man?"
What was it? A gluey wig?
Oh, yeah, it was gaff quad. I got my head shellacked
Right.
underneath a wig,
Yeah.
and then this thing screwed on, and then pins crossed over.
Oh,
It was a
right.
former
So it's a
tour.
headache, guaranteed.
Guaranteed
headache.
hat you cannot take off.
Right.
Plus
Right.
headband.
Yes. Yeah.
Worth it.
It was worth it. Yeah. You looked like 100% rock and roll.
And
Yeah.
Steve did too. He had the
Steve did too.
sleeves.
Yeah.
He had a Betty Boop tattoo.
Yes, he did.
Sort of
That's
nudie.
right.
And every night before he went home to his 2-year-old Lucian,
Yeah.
he would have it removed. 'cause
Yeah. He didn't want to scare his little boy.
No, he didn't.
Daddy didn't get a tattoo while you were gone.
Well, not of a lady.
Not of a woman that's not mommy. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was sweet. Every night was good food, good. Farley, remember Farley was in the movie?
Absolutely, I
And
do.
Farley, he terrorized the craft service truck. But I think we actually, when we shot that movie, Farley was on a diet.
He was.
So he was like a little calm. He was a little calmer on the craft service than you. But I definitely destroyed that thing.
I loved him.
Absolutely. We had fun together. I think he shot like maybe 2 weeks and we all hung out.
Yeah.
Nighttime. Man, that was probably the most fun I ever had on a movie. All of us were young.
We jumped off the parking structure
Buddy, that was incredible.
and crowd surfed.
Now, this is the truth on that jump.
Yeah.
We jumped off the thing and landed on a mat maybe 15 feet below us, right? Not that big of a stunt. I thought for sure I could handle that. I landed in such a stiff way that I heard my neck go, I heard everything, but I didn't want to.
You don't say anything about
I
it.
couldn't say anything because I would be humiliated. You two guys got up laughing, you and Buscemi. I was like, I'm
You
supposed to laugh.
completely collapsed your neck backwards.
It was awful.
You didn't turn into
I
it.
didn't know what I was supposed
Where
to
were
do. I
you?
was never a gymnast. I would go on the trampoline at the Jewish Community Center growing up, saw everyone else do well on it. I had the same thing happen to my neck on that thing when I was like 9.
Oh,
I'm not good at jumping and landing on my back.
don't do that.
I gotta
Take it
stop.
from me, okay?
Yes.
The guy who smashed into trees for a living.
Yeah, it's true. You went on to do so many. You went on, first of all, to leave Airheads and then get very jacked for George of the Jungle. I was disappointed how good you looked in that. You weren't supposed to do that to us. You were supposed to remain like a human.
The wardrobe was that there was no wardrobe.
Yes.
George eats bananas and swings around all day and he wears a loin.
You did right by the character, but you did wrong by us, man. You made us feel bad about ourselves.
I feel
But
good
you-
about it now, though.
Were you oiled up at all during George?
Oh, I was waxed, greased, starved of carbohydrates. I would
Yeah.
drive home after work and stop to get something to eat. And I needed some cash one day, and I went to the ATM, and I could not remember my PIN number because my
Ah.
brain was misfiring. I was banging on the thing. I didn't eat that night.
Oh, no. How about that feeling, though, when you have to eat right for a movie and it's 4 months long or whatever the hell it is? What a terrible.
Well, we can talk about that. I made a movie about a guy
Yeah.
who had eating issues.
There's a movie. Did you see The Whale?
I've seen The Whale. Yes.
You're just really, my heart was broken throughout the whole movie.
Do you ever get the feeling that people are incapable of not caring?
You rehearsed a lot for this.
3 weeks.
That-
Day 24 gave us 3 weeks. to
That's
rehearse.
never, you don't get 3 weeks to rehearse with actors.
You don't.
So you guys were all there hanging out, doing scene to scene rehearsals.
Yep.
And also getting more and more comfortable with each other. And
You
getting
learn
to-
your job. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Rehearsing
Yeah,
in a meaningful way before you show up to shoot it.
amazing, yes.
It seems like it's the fundamentals, but it's rare.
It's rare,
It
yeah, 'cause
normally.
it costs so much.
Yeah,
Right.
we show up there with the sides and scratch our heads and kind of go, it'd be good if, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, absolutely.
turn and burn. But everyone wound up knowing what they were doing.
So Aronofsky kind of led everyone through what he was envisioning, or he watched what you guys were thinking and took it from there, or was it's a combination? I'm sure.
Both combination. I mean, he said if he wasn't a director, he would have been a baseball umpire.
Uh-huh.
He knows the call. He sees everything.
Right.
And he's the last word
Right.
as a director. However, unlike a baseball umpire, he gives credit where the best ideas come from right away,
That's
which I
beautiful.
admire.
Yes, of
Great deal.
course.
That doesn't happen a lot on film
N-
sets.
Makes no difference where the best idea comes from. It's
As long as
all about
that
getting it
light
in.
bulb is there.
Absolutely.
and it's useful. We started talking about it in January of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me what he was going to do. He didn't know if he was going to make the movie for all the reasons. And then March 2020 came along, and we all know what happened. Everything shut down. So
Right.
the film went on ice. And
Well, that must have killed you.
I kept the faith, but
Yeah.
you know, I've seen that ship sail plenty of times before, and
Sure.
you know, I don't take it personally. But
Yeah.
I was hopeful, and I was lucky enough to work with Steven Soderbergh on No Sudden Move with a really cool cast in Detroit at the time. Later that October, and then he texted me in sort of typical Darren fashion. He starts the conversation right in the middle.
Uh-huh.
This is
The
your
second act.
research. You're gonna watch this. You're gonna read this, and you know, am I hired? He's like, yes, you're hired. You know,
That's the best, man.
the feeling.
That's the best.
I had an equal part sort of panic attack,
Yeah.
and I felt really calmly overjoyed because I knew that if I'm going to come back into the world of filmmaking and cinema in a meaningful way. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of talk about this being a comeback for me, and I appreciate that. But I mean, I was never that far away. I've always kept
No.
busy doing something.
Yeah.
I would lose my mind if it wasn't working. But
No.
you know, there's so much content in the world that a lot of that can just slip off the radar. And
Right.
I knew that I would have to make a statement of sorts. I have to reinvent myself.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky enough in the time that I've been making movies to make diverse choices when I can.
I actually was at Saturday Night Live at a show, and I saw Darren, and he said, I'm doing a movie. And he mentioned what he was doing, and he said, you know the guy I cast as Charlie, as the lead guy. I said, who? And he said, you. And I said, and he goes, yeah, you get it. I 100% knew you would crush this. So let's just talk about acting and being Charlie. And
All right. Well, he's a man who's hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
And he lives with obesity because he's been harming himself by overeating. He has regrets about life choices he's made. He needs to redeem himself in the very little amount of time that he has left.
yes,
To
he's
do that
got
means
like 5 days left to live.
Monday to Friday.
Right.
And to reach out and pick up the phone and call his daughter, played by Sadie Sink, is easier said than done. She's understandably enraged for having been hurt so
definitely
badly.
comes in hot. She's not ready for this.
Sadie Sink has an uncanny ability to focus rage in a way that I've never seen among actors
Yeah,
before. I had a front row seat to watch this kid
Right,
just
right.
come of age right there. I was constantly going up on my lines because I get lost in those big green eyes.
Yeah.
It's like a beautiful volcanic fire that she just focuses.
Yes.
And she was just always winning the game ball every day.
Uh-huh.
Every day. Darren
Uh-huh.
Aronofsky, we should mention, directed this
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
And he was constantly saying, just do another. We're all here anyway. He just wanted to see what she would do.
Right.
He did and
That's neat.
the same with Hong Chow, who played Charlie's friend and last connection to her late brother.
Yeah.
And it's an awkward relationship that they have because of the position he's put her in to render her this sort of de facto enabler. I mean, she's a medic,
But she loves you.
and she loves him.
Yeah.
But when he asks for what he needs to feed his, let's call it what it is, his addiction,
Yeah.
she does it because she knows it's what he needs. She can't
Yeah.
make water run uphill,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and she's humane,
Oh,
but she
my,
knows
yeah.
that it's not good for him.
Right. Yes. And just
And
watching him die from
watching him suffer from this and being frustrated because he refuses to go to a hospital for all manner of complicated reasons. That's
Right.
complicated by some issues regarding money that he wanted to give to his daughter. But the truth of
Right.
it is, and I've learned this, is that the healthcare system is such a quagmire that people who live with obesity, who may want to get a bariatric procedure that very well could save their lives,
Mhm.
find themselves often in a really unfair limbo, which is that they must, in a way, prove that they can lose X amount of weight before they'll be given permission by the healthcare system and insurers, doctors. So it I
So
don't
you
know.
have to
It
lose
belies
weight in
logic.
order to
Yeah,
get
it
terrible.
it's unfair.
Yeah.
to me.
When you were moving around that place and having to grab the handles and having to just rock yourself up out of the
Yeah.
couch and all that stuff was so
For Charlie
heartbreaking.
just to take to his feet was,
Yeah.
like an Olympic event in
Oh
deadlifting.
my God. What did you have on as an actor? What were
It
you wearing?
It was created with a digital rendering, a scan that was done
Right.
with an iPad that the producer came to my house. I stood in the driveway in the freezing cold because it was COVID and we're all scared of each other. And
Yeah.
anyway, that information went to Adrian Moreau in Montreal, who built a virtual character body of Charlie. This is a process that actually skips a step, and it's important because he can create the molds that create the appliances, digitally. So he has absolute dominion over the placement of the size of the pores on the skin,
Wow.
etc. There was a 5-point harness
Uh-huh.
that had me strapped in pretty, once into it, I was in there all day until it came off. Costume pieces themselves contained combinations of airsoft pellets, maybe dried beans, some marbles. But the rule was with this
Yeah.
is that the whole look should obey the laws of physics and gravity, because we don't see that in films. And I really looked. I looked at what the Farrelly brothers did. I looked at what Mike Myers did. I looked at what Eddie Murphy did. And that's just in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Anything before then, it's a cutout silhouette of a costume that's stuffed with batting. And it's normally just an athletic actor inside
Yes.
the silhouette of a suit.
Yeah.
And because, our brains are so tuned to pick out inconsistencies in anything, and in this age of digital, when anything can be created, we see where the seams are.
Right.
And it was all in service of just, kind of a mean joke or a one-note sort of shtick that I think we're better than. But it's important to say this because there are those who live with this disease. And I felt self-empowered to be their voice and to be as honest as I could and as authentic as I could in the portrayal of this. Look, my weight has been all over the map. I was muscular guy for George of the Jungle.
Right.
I put on weight to play this role, and it wasn't enough.
Right.
So the body had to go on top of that. And the two worked together.
People are amazing.
You always made choices that I never saw coming. Since I know you,
Thanks.
I know you since you were very young, and you would do movies that I would be like, "What's he doing?" And then I would watch them and I go, "Shit, I didn't see that coming." You were always ahead of us in thinking differently and caring about your material and making it deep for yourself. And then also, you made giant movies. When I saw The Mummy the first time, I remember calling you up and going, "I can't believe what I just saw. A giant theater going bananas, like a full-on action, fun adventure." I was going, "How the fuck is this guy doing that?" Because I just knew you as my buddy.
They gave me a whole list of
Oh,
questions.
shit.
And I'll answer
We
them.
all know me.
Can I answer them for you really quick?
Yeah, you answer.
I'll just do a lightning round.
Let's go. You do
Okay.
it. You ask. Yes.
What appealed to you about the script for Hustle? You love basketball.
Thank you.
Did you want to be a basketball coach growing up? No, you wanted to be a player. How did you prepare for the role? By playing basketball. You act opposite NBA player Juancho Hernandez in Hustle. What advice did you give him about acting for the first time? Show up, be cool, know your lines, you'll work it out. Is it fun for you to play underdogs? He doesn't play underdogs. He plays champions that are overlooked.
Ooh!
Does it feel good to see your movies become the most watched movies on Netflix? Bleep yes. I want to talk about you. Let's talk about Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, man.
I want to, because
Sure.
it showed me that my friend Adam, in the eyes of others who only saw you as the court jester and the clown, isn't going to be relegated to a one-note jokester, because the truth of any clown is an inherent sadness and anger. And that's with good reason, because they get to speak the truth and pass it off as humor. And in Punch Drunk Love, with Emily Watson.
Mm.
That was a misfit love story
Right.
that I hadn't seen played out before.
You threw a hammer straight through a sliding glass door. Is that right?
Threw a hammer. I don't remember doing that. It's our career. It's our life. It's movie to movie. You never know. Every movie you take takes months, a year, whatever happens. You can't exactly say, I'm doing this next, and then that's it. You don't know what's coming next. Shit comes your way. You connect with it like you did with The Whale,
Yeah.
and you go, I ain't fucking this one up. I'm going, this is a gift. I'm going hard. I don't want to go home at night and say, God damn, I should have done that. Punch Drunk, Paul Thomas Anderson, one of the nicest, smartest, funniest guys I know. You would love him, and he would love you.
I admire him.
Yes, yes. I mean, he fucking doesn't stop making great stuff. Everything he does, I say, shit. I feel like you would just say nice things about me. When I call him up, I go, where the fuck did that come from? Because he's such a sweet, he's just like us. He's just a funny, nice dude. And then gets alone and writes this shit up.
And happens to be brilliant.
He's a genius.
Just in case. He's
yes,
also a
exactly.
genius.
That script came. I said, let's not, in my brain, I was like, I can't waste this. It's beautiful story. As an actor, I've never got to do any of this stuff.
It just wasn't asked of you? Did you feel like you had to, did you have the power to go and say, yeah, I want to do this because it's how I feel and you connected with it?
I guess in the back of my head, I always knew. I studied acting. I did all that stuff.
You went to Tisch?
School. I went to Tisch. I studied at Strasbourg. I did all that. I loved it. I admired acting my whole life. I loved James Caan. I loved Dustin Hoffman. I loved Nicholson, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Pacino, I would walk around going, holy shit, those guys are incredible.
Yeah.
It wasn't my first thought. I wanted to do Eddie Murphy. I wanted to be Rodney Dangerfield. That's what I came out to do. And then I kept swinging and swinging and swinging and working hard and giving all these opportunities. And then I just lucked out. Paul wrote that movie for me. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I think I could do that. Actually, that was on my mind when I was younger. I got obsessed with comedy, but then that came my way. And then after that, other opportunities, you know, Spanglish, James L. Brooks, loved that man. He wrote this movie. I read the movie with Jim Brooks right in the room, read his script, was going, this fucking movie's amazing.
I tried to make the sandwich from Spanglish.
You did?
I tried to. It wasn't
You
as good
can't
as
handle it?
yours.
No, that's because those, at times, maybe it's not my hands in the shot. Let's not talk about that. All right, I did work hard on the sandwich. But just shit happens in your career that you luck out. You might pursue, come on, you might call your guys up and say, let's fucking get something I haven't done before. Usually they don't call back with, all right, check this out. It's they're sitting there too saying, let's see where it comes from. Like The Whale, man. All of a sudden you're given this shit and you're just so excited to dive in. And
did you work when COVID was happening?
During
the lockdown?
I did the movie Hustle.
You shot Hustle during COVID?
Yeah, we shot it two different times. It was a basketball movie. They weren't allowed to play basketball yet. Couldn't have guys sweating on each other. Couldn't have that happen. So we shot about 5 or 6 weeks of every scene that wasn't basketball. And then we took a hiatus, I don't know, 3, 4 months, 5 months.
Yeah.
Then we came back. The NBA was available. The guys were available to come shoot. And then we shot the basketball stuff after
What was it
that.
like working with the ball players? I mean,
The
so far
best.
as like, I'm sure it was the best because they're performers in their own regard.
Oh,
but
yeah, man. There's
but-
complete confidence. There's confidence that as just human beings.
Yeah.
These guys are the most elite athletes of our time.
Did they sincerely, like, you know, ask? I mean, this might not be their wheelhouse, performing for a camera, you know. Then
Right.
we've all seen Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you know, acting, and it's fun to see. But he's stiff as a board, and that's part of the charm of it. But I didn't see that in Hustle.
No.
I didn't see
These
that
guys
at all.
Your whole world's gonna change overnight.
I gotta work. My mom and my daughter, they mean everything to me.
Salary's $900,000.
He will call in sick.
You know, Jeremiah was running the show, and it was just about telling the players, say what you would say.
Say what you would say.
We need this to ultimately happen in the
So you
scene.
just basically lived this movie instead of.
Really got to fuck around and
Wow.
see. I mean, look, there's when you're making a movie, shit has to happen.
Yeah,
to make
to
and
tell the
scene
story
right
beats.
to tell the story.
Right.
So we would say, ultimately you got to get your shot blocked here, but get to it in a way that would make some sense. Say shit along the way that would make some sense if you guys hated each other or if you guys were teammates or whatever it
Because
was.
your sports scout, what was his name again?
Stanley Sugarman.
Okay, so Stanley went into the wilds. There's mythological.
That's funny.
overtones.
Your movie, The Scout.
Similar. Defined.
When we were putting this together, somebody said, go watch The Scout, blah, blah, blah. And I already saw The Scout. And I said, I don't want to feel jumpy about taking anything from The Scout.
This wasn't that.
No, it was different. It was
No,
different.
no,
It was
no.
different. Yeah.
Apart from going and finding.
Yeah, finding a gem.
Yeah, the uncut gem.
Yeah.
Finding in the Scout, it was like I found Kong. And I'm going to bring him back to the city. And you found him in Spain.
Yes. Juancho Hernan Gomez, amazing guy. I love this kid. He's like 25 now.
Yeah.
We text, I talk to him, I pull for him so hard because I like really, truly love this guy.
Obsession's gonna be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed?
When you're asking him, are you obsessed with basketball?
Right. That, to me, was awesome to say out loud because when I was young and I was 18, 17, 19, 22,
Right.
I was fucking similar to what I was saying to
You
Juancho's
were that
character.
kid sitting on the
I
stage.
was saying, I don't think of nothing else except fucking comedy.
Right.
But getting as good as I can be.
Was there a mentor who came to you in that way and said, are you for real?
I'll tell you
playing
what,
with me?
there wasn't a guy who gave me a speech like that. I had my own crazy thing in my head. I made promises to myself. I said,
All right.
don't give up.
Well,
Let's
your
go.
dad had a lot to do with it.
And then my dad, of course, my dad was my coach in every sport.
But he wasn't as confrontational as Stanley was.
No, you know what he was, my dad? He was amazingly calm with giving me confidence. He would just say in any situation, school, career, life, he'd kind of talk quietly into giving me confidence. Just
First time I hosted SNL before
Yeah.
I did the monologue, Lauren walked up to me just before we went live, and I don't do a very good Lauren. He says, it's all about confidence. And then he just turned and walked away. And don't try and be funny. Just buy into the reality.
That's the same thing when I do stand-up. If I walk out confident, we're going to have a good show. If I walk out with some fear in my head and they see it.
Does it fuel you a little bit, though?
The fear in the daytime before the show is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
And when you get out there, if you show too much fear, the audience is like, what's going on, man?
That, right? Yeah.
We're here to have a good time. What are you all tense about? So it's nice. It's nice when you lock into, and it's not a guarantee. Just like Saturday Night Live, you could go out on that stage where you're overwhelmed, like, holy shit, this is happening. Or how did you go out, by the way, on SNL? Do you remember?
I went out in an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, right.
And I kind of watched.
You watched yourself.
I watched myself, and
Yeah.
I learned that the show was pretty much about changing clothes. Running around in the dark.
Right.
Well, people pull your clothes
That's
off and
true.
put new ones on.
Good.
And the rest is just, hit the mark, bark, read the damn card.
Try not to stutter too much.
And I got a wig ripped off my head in a sketch with Anna Gasteyer. And I started laughing, and I looked up, and what is it, Wally? Who?
Yeah, Wally.
Wally had the cards, and he's like going, like he was like, hey, stop playing around, stop having fun, stop and
Get back to the business.
yeah, don't get too impressed with yourself and have fun in the situation is here. He's like, do your job.
Wally was yelling at you.
No, he was just doing this
He
finger.
was finger yelling at you.
Yeah. Oh, it was worse that way.
It's good. You deserved it.
I had it come.